The book of Enoch, chapter 43. And again I saw lightning and the stars of heaven, and I saw how he called them all by their names, and they heard him. And I saw that they were weighed on the scales of justice, according to their light, according to the width of their places, and the day of their appearance, and their course. One flash of lightning produces another, and their course according to the number of angels, and their fidelity they preserved among themselves. And I asked the angel who went with me, who showed me what was secret, quote, "What are these?" end quote. And he said to me, quote, "The Lord of the spirits has showed thee a picture of them. These are the name of the just, who dwell on the earth and believe on the name of the Lord of the spirits to all eternity." End quote. Chapter 44. Also other things I saw in reference to the flashes of lightning, how they arise from the stars and become lightning, and can leave nothing behind with them. In chapter 45, section 8, and this is the second parable concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling place of the Holy and of the Lord of the spirits. They will not ascend to heaven, and will not come on the earth. Such will be the portion of the sinners who deny the name of the Lord of the spirits, who are thus preserved to the day of suffering and sorrow. On that day the chosen one will sit upon the throne of glory, and will choose among their (i.e. men's) deeds, and places without number, and their spirit will become strong in them when they see my chosen one, and those who have called upon my holy and glorious name. And on that day I will cause my chosen one to dwell among them, and will transform heaven and make it a blessing and a light eternally. And I will transform the earth and make it a blessing, and will cause my chosen ones to dwell thereon. And those who have committed sins and crimes will not step on it. For I have seen and satisfied with peace my just ones, and have placed them before me. But for the sinners there awaits before me a judgment, that I may destroy them from the face of the earth. Chapter 46. And there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool, and with him was a second whose countenance was like the appearance of a man, and his countenance was full of agreeableness, like one of the holy angels. And I asked one of the angels who went with me and who showed me all the secrets concerning this Son of Man, who he was and whence he was and why he goes with the head of days. And he answered and said to me, quote, "This is the Son of Man, who has justice, and justice dwells with him, and all the treasures of secrecy he reveals, because the Lord of the spirits has chosen him, and his portion overcomes all things before the Lord of the spirits, in rectitude to eternity. And this Son of Man, whom thou hast seen, will arouse the kings and mighty from their couches, and the strong from their thrones, and will loosen the bands of the strong, and will break the teeth of the sinners. And he will expel the kings from their thrones and from their kingdoms, because they do not exalt him and praise him, and do not acknowledge humbly whence the kingdom was given to them. And he will expel the countenance of the strong, and shame will fill them. Darkness will be their dwelling place, and worms will become their couches. And they will have no hope of rising from their couches, because they do not exalt the name of the Lord of spirits. And these are they who master the stars of heaven, and raise their hands against the Most High, and tread the earth and live thereon. And all their doing is injustice, and their doing manifests injustice, and their power is in their riches, and their faith is in gods which they have made with their hands. And they have denied the name of the Lord of the spirits, and they will be cast out of the houses of his congregations, and of the faithful who hang on the name of the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 47. And in those days the prayer of the just and the blood of the just one ascend from the earth before the Lord of the spirits. In these days the holy ones who dwell in high heaven will unite in one voice, and will petition and pray and praise and thank and bless the name of the Lord of the spirits, on account of the blood of the just which has been spilled. And the prayer of the just, that may not be in vain before the Lord of the spirits, that judgment may be held over them, and they not suffer to eternity. And in those days I saw the head of days, as he sat upon the throne of his glory, and the books of the living were opened before him, and his whole host, which is in high heaven and around him, stood before him. And the hearts of the holy ones were filled with joy, because the number of justice was fulfilled, and the prayers of the just had been heard, and the blood of the just one had been demanded before the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 48. And at that place I saw an inexhaustible fountain of justice, and around it many fountains of wisdom. And all the thirsty drank out of them, and were filled with wisdom. And their dwelling places were with the just, and holy, and chosen. And at that hour that Son of Man was called near the Lord of the spirits, and his name before the head of days, and before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were made. His name was called before the Lord of the spirits. He will be a staff to the just and the holy, upon which they will support themselves and not fall, and he will be the light of the nations, and he will be the hope of those who are sick in their hearts. All who live upon the earth will fall down before him and bend the knee to him, and will bless and praise him, and will sing songs to the name of the Lord of the spirits. For this purpose he was chosen, and hidden before him before the world was created, and he will be before him to eternity. And the wisdom of the Lord of the spirits has revealed him to the holy and the just. For he preserves the portion of the just, because they have hated and despised this world of injustice, and have hated all its deeds and ways in the name of the Lord of the spirits. For in his name they will be saved, and he will be the revenger of their lives. And in those days the countenances of the kings of the earth and of the mighty who possess the earth will be bent down on account of the deeds of their hands, for on the day of their terror and trouble their souls will not be saved. And I will put them into the hands of my chosen, like straw in fire, and like lead in water. Thus they will burn before the face of the just, and sink before the face of the holy, and no trace of them will be found. And on the day of their trouble, there will be rest on the earth. Before him they will fall and not rise again. And there will be no one to take them with his hands and lift them up, because they have denied the Lord of the spirits and his anointed. The name of the Lord of the spirits be blessed. Chapter 49. For wisdom is poured out like water, and glory does not cease before him to all eternity. For he is powerful in all the secrets of justice and injustice, like a shadow, will end, having no stability, because the chosen one has arisen before the Lord of the spirits, and his glory is to all eternity, and his power to all generations. In him dwells the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit of him who imparts understanding, and the spirit of doctrine and of power, and the spirit of those asleep, injustice. And he will judge the secrets, and no one will be able to speak a vain word before him, because he is the chosen one before the Lord of the spirits, according to his will. Chapter 50. And in those days there will be a change for the holy and chosen, and the light of the days will dwell over them, and glory and honor will be turned over to the holy. And on the day of trouble, evil will gather over the sinners, but the just will overcome through the name of the Lord of the spirits, and he will show it to the others, that they may repent and cease the work of their hands. And they will have no honor before the Lord of the spirits, but in his name they will be saved. And the Lord of the spirits will have mercy on them, for his mercy is great. And he is just in his judgment, and before his glory, and injustice will not stand in his judgment. Whosoever will not repent shall be destroyed. Henceforth I will not have mercy on them, says the Lord of spirits. Chapter 51. And in those days the earth will return that entrusted to it, and shall will return that entrusted to it, which it has received, and hell will return what it owes. And he will choose the just and holy from among them, for the day has come that they be saved. And the chosen one in those days will sit upon his throne, and all the secrets of wisdom will proceed from the thoughts of his mouth. For the Lord of the spirits has given it to him, and has honored him. And in those days the mountains will skip like rams, and the hills spring like lambs satisfied with milk, and they will all be angels in heaven. Their faces will shine in gladness, because the chosen one has arisen in those days, and the earth will rejoice, and the just will live thereon, and the chosen will walk and move thereon. Chapter 52. And after those days, at that place, where I had seen all the visions of that which is hidden, for I was taken up by the whirling of the wind and carried toward the west, there my eyes saw the secrets of heaven. All things that will be on the earth, a mountain of iron, and a mountain of copper, and a mountain of silver, and a mountain of gold, and a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. And I asked the angel who went with me, saying, quote, "What are those things which I have seen in secret?" End quote. And he said to me, quote, "All these things which thou hast seen are for the power of his anointed, that he may command and be powerful on the earth." End quote. Then this angel of peace answered and said to me, quote, Wait a little, and thou wilt see, and there will be revealed to thee every secret that the Lord of the Spirits has planted. These mountains which thou hast seen, the mountain of iron, and the mountain of copper, and the mountain of silver, and the mountain of gold, and the mountain of soft metal, and the mountain of lead, all these will be before the chosen one, like wax in the presence of fire. And like the water which falls down from above on these mountains, and will be weak before his feet, and it will come to pass in those days that no one will save himself, not with gold and not with silver. No one will be able to save himself or to flee, and there will be no iron for war, and no clothing for a breastplate. Metal will not aid, and zinc will not aid, and will not be beaten out, and lead will not be desired. And all these things will disappear and be destroyed from the face of the earth, when the chosen one shall appear before the face of the Lord of the Spirits. Chapter 53. And there my eyes saw a deep valley, whose mouth was open, and all those who dwell upon the earth and sea and islands will bring him gifts and presents and tokens of submission. For that deep valley will not be filled, and they commit crimes with their hands, and everything they make they devour criminally, they the sinners, but they will be destroyed in the presence of the Lord of the Spirits, they the sinners, and will be chased from off the face of his earth continually to all eternity. For I have seen the angels of punishment going preparing all the instruments for Satan. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, quote, These instruments, for whom have they been prepared? End quote. And he said to me, quote, These are prepared for the kings and the mighty of this earth, that they be destroyed with them. And after this, the just and chosen one will cause the house of his congregation to appear. Henceforth, he will not be hindered in the name of the Lord of the Spirits. And these mountains will be in his presence like the earth, and the hills will be like a fountain of water, and the just will rest from the oppression of the sinners. Chapter 54. And I looked and turned toward another side of the earth, and I saw there a deep valley with a burning fire. And they brought the kings and the powerful and put them into the deep valley. And there my eyes saw how they make instruments for them, iron chains of immense weight. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, quote, these chain instruments, for whom have they been prepared? End quote. And he said to me, quote, these have been prepared for the hosts of Azazel, to imprison them and put them into the lowest hell. And their jaws will be covered with rough stones, as the Lord of the Spirits has commanded. Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Phanuel, they will overpower them on that great day, will throw them on that day into the oven of burning fire, that the Lord of the Spirits may avenge himself on them on account of their injustice, because they became subject to Satan and have led astray those who dwell on the earth. End quote. And in those days the punishment from the Lord of the Spirits will come, and all the repositories of water, which are above in the heavens, and also the fountains of water, which are under the heavens, and which are under the earth, will be opened. And all the waters will be joined with the waters which are above in the heavens. But the waters which is in high heaven is the masculine, and the water which is beneath on the earth is feminine. And then will be destroyed all those who dwell on the earth, and those who dwell under the ends of heaven. And through this they know their injustice, which they have done on the earth, and therefore they are destroyed. Chapter 55. And after that the head of days repented and said, quote, in vain have I destroyed all who dwell on the earth. End quote. And he swore by his great name, quote, henceforth I will not do thus to all those who dwell on the earth. And I will place a sign in the heavens, and it will be a token of fidelity between me and them to eternity. As long as heaven is above the earth, and then it will be according to my command, when I desire to overpower them by the hand of the angel on the day of trouble and suffering. Before this, my anger and my punishment will remain over them, end quote, says the Lord of the Spirits. Quote, ye mighty kings who will dwell on the earth, ye shall be about to see my chosen one, as he sits on the throne of my glory and judges Azazel and all his associates, and all his hosts in the name of the Lord of the Spirits. Chapter 56. And I saw there the hosts of the angels of punishment walking and holding chains of iron and of metal. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, quote, to those to whom are these going, holding them? And he said to me, quote, each one to his chosen and his beloved, that they be thrown into the deep abyss of the valley, and then that valley will be filled with their chosen and beloved, and the day of their lives will be ended, and the day of their error will from that time on not be counted. End quote. And in those days the angels will assemble and turn their heads toward the east, towards the people of Parthia and Media, in order to excite the kings, and that a spirit of disturbance come over them and disturb them from off their thrones. That they come forth from their resting places like lions, and like hungry wolves amidst their flocks. And they will ascend and step upon the land of their chosen, and the land of his chosen will be before them a threshing floor and a path. But the city of my just will be a hindrance to their horses, and they will take up a battle amongst themselves, and their right will become strong against themselves. And a man will not know his neighbour or his brother, nor the son his father or his mother, until there shall be sufficient bodies by their death, and their punishment over them. It will not be in vain. And in those days the mouth of Sheol will be opened, and they will sink into it, and their destruction, Sheol, will devour the sinners from the presence of the chosen. And it came to pass after this, that I saw again a host of wagons, upon which men were riding, and they came upon the winds from the east, and from the west to the south, and the noise of their wagons was heard. And as this commotion took place, the holy ones from heaven noticed it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and it was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven in one day. And they will all fall down and bend the knee before the Lord of the spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. Section 9, chapter 58. And I began to speak the third parable concerning the just, and concerning the chosen. Blessed are ye, the just and chosen, for your portion is glorious, and the just will be in the light of the sun, and the chosen in the light of everlasting life. And there will be no end to the days of their life, and the days of the holy will be without number. And they will seek the light and will find justice with the Lord of the spirits. There will be peace to the just with the Lord of the world. And after that it will be said to the holy that they should seek in heaven the secrets of justice, the portion of faith, for it has risen like the sun on the earth, and darkness has disappeared. And there will be an unceasing light, and in the number of days they will not enter, because darkness will be destroyed first, and the light will be mighty before the Lord of the spirits, and the light of rectitude will be strong in eternity before the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 59. And in those days my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning, and the masses of light, and their judgments, and they flashed for a blessing and for a curse, as the Lord of the spirits desired. And there I saw the secrets of the thunder, and how when it resounds above in the heavens, its sound is heard. And they showed me the dwelling places of the earth, and the thunder, either for peace or blessing or for a curse, according to the word of the Lord of the spirits. And after that all the secrets of the luminaries and of the lightning were shown to me, as they flash for blessing and for satisfaction. Section 10, Chapter 60. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month of the life of Enoch, in that parable I saw that the heaven of heavens shook tremendously, and the host of the Most High and the angels 1,000 times 1,000, and 10,000 times 10,000 were disturbed exceedingly. And then I saw the head of days sitting upon the throne of his glory, and the angels and the just ones stood around him. And a great trembling took hold of me, and fear seized me. My loins were bent and were loosened, my whole being melted together, and I fell down on my face. And the holy Michael sent another holy angel, one of the holy angels, and he raised me up, my spirit returned, for I had not been able to endure the sight of this host and of that trembling and shaking of heaven. And the holy Michael said to me, quote, on account of what vision is such trembling? Up to today was the day of his mercy, and he was merciful and slow to anger over those who dwell on the earth. But when the day and the power and the punishments and judgments come, which the Lord of the spirits has prepared for those who bow to the judgment of justice, and for those who deny the judgment of justice, and for those who take his name in vain, that day has been prepared a covenant for the chosen, and a test for the sinners. And on that day 2 monsters will be disturbed, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the depth of the sea, over the fountains of the waters. But the masculine is named Behemoth, who occupies with his rest a void desert called Dendayan. In the east of the garden, where the chosen and holy would dwell, where my grandfather was taken up, the seventh from Adam, the first of men whom the Lord of the Spirits made. And I asked that other angel that he should show me the power of those monsters, how they were separated on one day, and that one descended into the depths of the sea, and the other to the desert land. And he said to me, quote, "Thou son of man, thou desirest to know here that which is a secret." End quote. Then the other angel who went with me spoke to me and showed me that which was secret, the first and the last, what is in the heavens on high, and in the earth in the deep, and on the ends of the heavens, and on the foundations of heaven, and in the repositories of the winds, and how the spirits are divided, and how weighing is done, and how the fountains and the winds are counted according to the power of the Spirit and the power of the lights of the moon, and that it is a power of justice, and the divisions of the stars according to their names, and how each division is divided, and peals of thunder according to the place where they fall, and all the divisions that are made among the flashes of lightning, that lightning may take place, and their hosts obey. For the thunder has places of rest for the awaiting of its peal, and thunder and lightning are inseparable, and although not one, both go together through the Spirit, are not separated. For when the lightning flashes, the thunder utters its voice, and the Spirit causes a rest during the flash, and divides equally between them. For the treasury of their flashes is like the sand, and each one of them, in its flash, is held with a bridle, and turned back by the power of the Spirit, and is pushed forward according to the number of the directions on the earth. And the spirit of the sea is masculine and strong, and according to the strength of his power he draws it, i.e. the sea, back with the bridle, and in like manner it is pushed forward and scattered in all the mountains of the earth. And the spirit of the hoarfrost is his own angel, and the spirit of hail is a good angel, and he has left go the spirit of the snow on account of its strength, and it has a special spirit, and that which ascends from it is like smoke, and its name is frost. And the spirit of the fog is not joined with them in their repositories, but it has a special repository, for its course is in clearness, and in light, and in darkness, and in winter, and in summer, and its repository is the light, and it, bracket, i.e. the Spirit, end bracket, is its angel. And the Spirit of the Jew has its dwelling place at the ends of the heaven, and is connected with the repositories of the rain, and its course is in winter and in summer, and its clouds and the clouds of the fogs are connected, and one gives to the other. And when the Spirit of rain moves out of its repository, the angels come and open the repository and lead it out, and when it is scattered over all the earth, and also as often as it is joined to the waters of the earth. For the waters are for those who live on the earth, for they are the nourishment for the earth from the Most High, who is in heaven. Therefore rain has its measure, and angels receive it. All these things I saw towards the garden of the just, and the angel of peace who was with me said to me, quote, "These two monsters are prepared to be fed according to the greatness of God, that the punishments from God be not in vain, and sons will be killed with their mothers, and children with their fathers. When the punishment from the Lord of the Spirits shall rest over them, it will rest, so that the punishments from the Lord of the Spirits may not come in vain over those. After that there will be a judgment in his mercy and his patience." Chapter 61. And I saw in those days that long cords were given to those angels, and they took to themselves wings, and flew and went towards the north. And I asked the angel, saying, quote, "Why have these taken the long cords and have gone away?" End quote. And he said to me, quote, "They went out to measure," end quote. And the angel who went with me said to me, quote, "These bring the measures of the just and the ropes of the just, that they may support themselves on the name of the Lord of the Spirits to all eternity. And the chosen will begin and dwell with the chosen, and these measures will be given to faith, and will strengthen the word of justice. And these measures will reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who have been destroyed by the desert, and those who have been devoured by the fish of the sea, and by the beasts, that they return and support themselves on the day of the chosen one. For none will be destroyed before the Lord of the Spirits, and none can be destroyed. And then received a command all who dwell in the height of heaven, and one power, and one voice, and one light, like the fire, was given to them. And that one first they blessed and exalted and glorified with wisdom, and showed themselves wise in speech, and in the spirit of life. And the Lord of the Spirits placed his chosen one on the throne of his glory, and he will judge all the deeds of the holy ones in heaven, and will weigh their deeds on scales. And when he shall raise his countenance to judge their paths that are secret by the word of the name of the Lord of the spirits, and their path is the way of the just, judgment of the highest God. Then they will all speak with one voice, and bless, and praise, and exalt, and glorify the name of the Lord of the spirits. And then will cry out all the host of the heavens, and all the holy ones above, and the hosts of God, cherubim and seraphim and Ophanim, and all the angels of power, and all the angels of supremacies, and the chosen one, and the other powers on the earth above the water on that day. And will raise one voice, and will bless, and glorify, and praise, and exalt, in the spirit of faith, and the spirit of wisdom, and of patience, and the spirit of mercy, and in the spirit of judgment, and of peace, and in the spirit of goodness. And will all say with one voice, quote, Blessed is he, and blessed be the name of the Lord of the spirits, in eternity until eternity. End quote. And all who do not sleep in high heavens will bless him. All his holy ones who are in heaven will bless him. And all the chosen who dwell in the garden of life, and every spirit of light who is able to bless and glorify and exalt and say, quote, Holy, end quote, to thy sacred name, and all flesh will exceedingly praise and bless thy name to all eternity. For great is the mercy of the Lord of the spirits, and he is slow to anger, and all his doing and all his power, as much as he has made, he is revealed to the just and to the chosen, in the name of the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 62. And thus the Lord commanded the kings and the powerful and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, and said, quote, Open your eyes and lift up your horns, if ye are able to recognize the chosen one. End quote. And the Lord of the spirits sat on the throne of his glory, and the spirit of justice was poured out over him, and the word of his mouth slew all the sinners and all the impious, and they were destroyed before his face. Then will stand up on that day all the kings and the powerful and the exalted, and those who hold the earth, and will see him, and will know that he sits on the throne of his glory, and that the just are judged in justice before him, and that there is no word spoken in vain before him. And pain will come over them like a woman who is in travail, and to whom the birth is hard, when the son enters the mouth of the mother, and she has pain in giving birth. And one portion of them will look upon the other, and will tremble and cast down their countenances, and pain will seize them when they see this son of the woman sitting on the throne of his glory. And the powerful kings and all who hold the earth will honor and bless and exalt him who rules over all, who was hidden. For formerly the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him before his power, and revealed him to the chosen. And the congregation of the holy and the chosen will be sown, and all the chosen will stand before him on that day. And all the powerful kings and the exalted, and they who rule the earth, will fall before him upon their faces, and will worship and will hope in the Son of Man, and will petition him and ask him for mercy. And that Lord of the spirits will only press them, that they hasten to leave his presence, and their countenances will be filled with shame. And darkness will be heaped upon their countenances, and the angels of punishment will receive them to take vengeance on them, because they have abused his children and his chosen. And there will be a spectacle for the just and for his chosen. They rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord of the spirits rests upon them, and the sword of the Lord of the spirits is drunk with them. And the just and chosen will be saved on that day, and will henceforth not see the face of the sinners and of the unjust. And the Lord of the spirits will dwell over them, and they will dwell with the Son of Man, and will eat and lie down and rise again with him to all eternity. And the just and the chosen will have risen from the earth, and will have ceased to cast down their faces, and will be clothed with the garments of life. And these will be the garments of life before the Lord of the spirits. And your garments will not become old, and your glory will not decrease before the Lord of the spirits.